Is the city of Buffalo's exclusive ambulance provider keeping up with the required response times? Tonight, a News 4 investigation shows lapses involving some of the most serious calls like chest pains and heart attacks.
The News 4 Investigates team spent about a month analyzing calls from last year and this year. News 4's Luke Moretti is here to tell us what they found. Luke?
Well, Jackie and Don, last year the city entered into a long-term contract with Rural Metro. Now, that contract spells out certain conditions that must be met, like response times for hot calls, which require advanced life support. In a life and death situation, seconds matter. In the city of Buffalo, about 75% of the fire department calls involve an emergency medical situation.
You pick up the phone and call, Buffalo Fire responds, and we're there.
City resident Frank Sloan was suffering chest pains.
I just wanted to breathe. I was scared.
Gloria Sierra thought she was having a heart attack. Her neighbor, Yamil Estacio, remembers those tense moments.
We were there calming her down.
Buffalo firefighters are among the first on the scene of a medical emergency. And while they're trained EMTs, they can only do so much.
We don't have the equipment or the advanced life-saving capabilities that the ambulances carry.
Rural Metro, the city's exclusive ambulance provider, does perform advanced life support procedures and transports patients to the hospital.
They took forever to get here.
Frank Sloan waited 14 and a half minutes for a Rural Metro ambulance crew to arrive.
But that 14 minutes is a what time? It felt like a half hour.
Gloria Sierra waited about 25 minutes for an ambulance.
It was a little weird to her because every other time that she had call, they get here at a reasonable time.
Both of these calls are considered life-threatening emergencies and require an ambulance response time of 8 minutes, 59 seconds or less. They are among over 1,400 similar emergency medical calls in the Queen City this year, in which Rural Metro ambulances failed to meet the required response time.
It's almost a daily issue where the dispatchers are telling our crews that there's no ambulance available.
Thomas Barrett, president of the Buffalo Professional Firefighters Union, says it's extremely frustrating for his members.
We can do basic life support, but when somebody needs more, there's not much we can do.
Rural Metro has a 5-year contract with the city that spells out response time standards. For example, life-threatening emergencies require a response time of 8 minutes, 59 seconds on not less than 90% of all calls in any month period. But a News 4 Investigates analysis of over 73,000 calls from last year and this year show lapses in the required response time. Erie County dispatches all 911 calls in Buffalo. The county's monthly review shows that Rural Metro fails to meet the contract for the most serious calls. Take, for example, November 2015 through March of this year. Rural Metro hit required response times and averaged 77% for non-life-threatening and only 73% for life-threatening. They were not in compliance on this, correct?
That's correct. Okay. In some categories they are, and in some they're not.
Buffalo Fire Commissioner Garnell Whitfield is the chairman of the city's Emergency Medical Services Board, which includes ambulance oversight.
Has the city hit them with fines?
We have not.
Why not?
Because there are a number of other issues surrounding response times and everything else that the board has to consider.
The city's contract with Rural Metro includes penalty payments that range from $750 up to $25,000, depending on circumstances and the frequency of noncompliance.
More importantly than the fines, more importantly than anything, is the level of care that's being provided to this community. And the fines are there for a reason. In times where we would deem their lack of compliance egregious, negligent, and that's what the fines are for.
Recently, Whitfield appeared before a Buffalo Common Council budget meeting where some city lawmakers expressed concerns.
I would hope that if the ambulance company is not living up to the contract, that we will immediately place monetary fines on them.
We have to be on top of this because we don't want any backsliding. I mean, I think we're in the right direction.
That's the way Rural Metro's regional director, Jay Smith, put it during a city EMS board meeting in April.
We know we're moving in the right direction. We're confident in that.
News 4 wanted to know exactly how the company plans to improve response times in the city. But numerous requests for a sit-down interview with rural Metro officials were declined. Instead, they sent a statement. In one of the 3 areas of response times, we are exceeding our goals. We are taking aggressive actions and nearing full compliance. Rural Metro goes on to state that it has made significant investments in Buffalo, purchasing 25 new ambulances, increasing the fleet from 48 to 70 ambulances, hiring new EMTs and paramedics, investing in new equipment, implementing new technologies to improve communication and response times.
We want to make sure that this is actually working per the contract. If it's a growing pain, really shouldn't be, because they've already expanded into the city of Buffalo for all these years. They've been working in the city of Buffalo. We haven't gotten any bigger.
Pastor James Giles of Back to Basics Outreach Ministry serves on the city's EMS board as a community representative.
Are you confident that they're going to address these matters?
Oh, yeah, we're confident. They've been open and kind of fair in terms of expressing to us where the defects are.
Fixing those defects can't happen soon enough for city firefighters who often find themselves waiting.
Engine 26 has been waiting for ambulance for a while now.
And waiting.
Engine 26, unfortunately, they still do not have an ambulance available.
We'd like to see better monitoring from the ambulance board and the commissioner's office. We'd like to know what are the peak times and are they actually following through and what's going to be done if they're not.
Commissioner Whitfield promises ambulance response times will get better. He's hoping to add a medical director to the fire department, a position that would help with oversight.
This medical director will be instrumental in making sure that rural Metro's doing what it says it's going to do and that they're following the contract.
Absolutely.
Now, as we reported over the weekend, Jay Smith, Rural Metro's regional director, left the company last week to pursue other career options. According to a company statement, a search for new leadership is now underway.
And you said that Rural Metro would not talk to you about this, but they are required to file reports with the city about this.
Yeah, they absolutely are. You know, the contract requires them to file monthly and quarterly reports on response times. Now, we've asked the city for those records and took the added step of actually filing a Freedom of Information request to get those records. We're still waiting.
Even though you talked to the fire commissioner about this and you couldn't get your hands on those records yet.
At least not right away, but we're waiting, and when we get them, we'll report it.
Okay, great. Thank you.